Beautiful. We are back. And of course, as I promised, we're going to have such a captivating conversation. When you hear stories of restoration in marriage, they're always encouraging because we need more of such stories. Some people, there are points they get to and they feel we cannot proceed on from here. But today we are going to be talking about a story where God restored even when all hope was lost. And Isaac is with us. You know him. He's become mwenyeji, sio mgeni tena. I can't even say my guest of the day because he's no longer a guest. Ni mwenyeji, amekuja, and I'm so happy that we still have him today. He's so devoted to just coming forth and sharing his wisdom with you, what God has put in his heart. So without much further ado, let's welcome Isaac. Karibu sana.
Asante sana. Thank you so much, Beatrice.
Good to see you once again.
Good to see you too.
Yeah. I was just telling the viewers earlier on that those tea conversations sometimes can bring things even beyond what we talked about on the interview earlier on. But something came out about an experience that you had in your own marriage. Even as a pastor, I think we don't talk about that side
sure.
a lot. But people need to know you're also a pastor, so there's really a lot that is on your table with regards to what you ought to do and where you need to be. But let's begin with you introducing yourself, and with that, I think we can proceed from there.
Well, thank you so much, Beatrice. Thank you, viewers, also for taking your time to be here with us. So my name is Isaac Kamau, and I'm a counseling psychologist. I'm a pastor, and I'm a father of 3 children, and a husband of one wife called Maggie. And I'm blessed to be here.
Amazing. And for how long have you been husband to Maggie?
Now imagine it's 10 years now.
Wow, a decade.
Yeah, decade. I'm that old.
Hey.
Yeah.
We need a lot of tips from you because in every marriage I have had, and I remember my auntie telling me that in every marriage there will come a time that tests your commitment completely beyond what you could ever think or imagine. It literally can put you at the verge of separation if God is not at the center of it, and if you do not discern what is happening really. So I want you to talk to us about your story. Even before we get down to the questions, I want us to get right into why we are here. It's to hear your story about your marriage and what happened, what led to you being in a situation whereby we would call it a near divorce experience.
Well, thank you for that. I must say that, Beatrice, every person is vulnerable because we get ourselves in a space where we are not well educated. Like I said last time, I talked about certification before the coursework, you remember? That we get into an exam that we have not prepared for. And I think the same thing happened to us because when we got married, like we are mature, we are big, have beards, when your mom sees you and now you have beards, and then she's like, hey, now you're growing old, you need to get a wife. So there's all the pressure. The girl also is mature, she can get babies and all that. So we got into that setup, and we did a very beautiful wedding. And I think at that point when we were doing the wedding, everybody is so sure in a deal. Even you, the wife, is like, wow, this is a deal. It's a deal of a lifetime. And of course, the first stage of a relationship involves a lot of excitement, a lot of joy, a lot of hope, a lot of enthusiasm. And later, now after settling into it, that's when we realized that we were very different. Yes, our personalities were really, really different and were really clashing. And we were like, wow, this now, what do we do? What do we do? And then, now changing a person's personality, it's very, very difficult. I happen to have a strong sanguine personality. and my wife happens to have a choleric phlegmatic. It's a combination. So those two can really eat up. They can really, like for instance, such people, you can crack a very good joke and then they're like, it's a statement, and then you're like, "I is this joke not funny?"
Yeah.
And then now before you realize, oh, you need to adjust to that. You not like, like a sanguine and a sanguine, they can really fly. This place can come down, it can burn. But now you find somebody who is a bit calm, not really so excited and all that, and then now the interpretation of on that is that this thing can't work. This now very difficult, and at some point we felt, no, this us guys made a mistake, and so let's do the necessary. The problem, we say that the problem is making the mistake twice.
Wow.
So why don't we just go ahead and divorce? We will. And now, as we are heading to a divorce, everybody has very negative emotions.
Yeah.
It's not like you're having a very good conversation, like, oh, babe, what do you think? Can we divorce? Yeah. By the way, it's you really,
Yeah.
it's heated. The conversation is very heated. Like, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And now we need to quit this thing. And the other person is like, yeah, I'm also tired. I'm even tired than you. Then like you're competing to be tired. And then you're like, okay, fine, go ahead, go and do what you want. Then I went to a lawyer because the next thing is legal advice. And the lawyer told me, the best thing is to first of all separate. Just be apart for like at least a year or two.
Wow.
I felt, oh wow, this is carrying in a lot of hope, because now the hope is getting out of that cocoon and that space, getting out of that jail and that cell. You feel like you want to breathe. You haven't gotten a good breath for the last, a year, 2, 3. Yeah, okay, fine. The lawyer gives us a very nice advice. By then, we had 2 kids.
Wow.
And then I implemented. This time, luckily, I was studying a master's in counseling psychology. And in the process, I realized that my kids, especially my firstborn boy, who is now 8 years, was really going through so much because of that separation. I was called in school. He's not getting anything in class. Yeah, he's scoring strong E's. And then I'm like, this boy is so bright. What is it? And then I decided to do a research on what separations and divorce do to children. And I did a very good research that too. Actually, for my thesis, that is what I did. And I found very profound information.
Wow.
Like one thing that shocked me is that the chances of this boy now having a dysfunctional family are almost like 10 times higher than mine.
Wow.
Because there's a lot of learning that is taking place. There's something very interesting I learned about how you learn to be helpless. Like just the way, like now we are learning something, it's possible for you to learn to be helpless. And it becomes like an experiment was done, and a fish was placed in like aquarium, and then there was a barrier that was set, and then once it hit the barrier, it would go back, and that was done for quite some time. And then when the barrier was removed, the fish could get there and then go back even without the barrier. It had learned that this is the barrier, even when the barrier was removed. Yeah. So I learned that human beings have learned to be helpless. Animals learn to be helpless, and it really affects the faculties of the mind. Talk of the emotions, the thoughts, the body, and all that. And I got to exactly know how dysfunctional families are founded or how they are made. It's something very scientific, something that can be traced, that your grandfather did this at this time, and therefore from that point you guys have grown in a space where you've been learning to be helpless. And so when it comes to issues to do with relationships, to do with marriages and such, already the barrier has been set, even when Jesus himself removed the barrier. So the barrier still exists because of what was introduced in your family lineage. Yeah? And so I got a lot of information. I got a lot of information about the health of the children, and how the emotions affect their health, their learning. It's very scientific. One day I can come and see and explain how learning is affected, exactly what is touched by what, and how learning takes. It's called the science of learning. And so as I was doing my research and all that, remember now we are not living apart. I mean, we were not living together. We were living apart. And I just asked God, remember, I'm a pastor, I'm preaching, I'm invited to places. There are some people who are coming to me to seek for help, especially on issues to do with depression and such. I also realized that so many people are in depression because of broken families.
Right.
Yes, because like almost everyone is looking for love, and that love is mostly found in a family setup. And it hurts most when the pain comes from the family circle. And so at some point, it was also not easy for me. It was difficult because the inconvenience also is too much as a person now. Remarrying, divorcing. I also realized the divorce process is also quite expensive because we had started the process, and it was also taking some good money. And so at some point, I just asked God, if it was you in this situation, like what would you do?
That was an honest question.
Yeah. Then I was like, I really need answers because I'm finding this to be very difficult. I am well aware that I'll be the alpha of a dysfunctional lineage. So I'll be responsible for that. And I had all that knowledge.
Yeah.
I have the knowledge on the impact it has on our health and all that. So I asked God, what would you do if it was you in my situation? What would you do? And another thing I didn't say, anytime you're divorcing, you are really seeking for validation from other people. So you tell someone, imagine, this is what she did. Imagine hakunipea food jana. What? Yeah. Then someone tells you, hata uko na nguvu. You still there. You've tried. You have a lot of grace. Then you're like, wow. This has been grace, and now it's over.
It's over.
Yeah. So that's what you want to hear.
Yeah.
So anyone who's on the contrary telling you, no, I think you should seek the Lord. No. I'm like, no, this thing is I don't think it should be. It's headed on a certain direction, and that's the direction I also want. So one day, now when I ask God what would he do in that situation and what he wanted from me, because many things about me were going to be affected. The ministry, I was also asking myself, I was about to graduate. Now, what will happen now? People are coming with marriage problems. How will I solve them? It was difficult.
I can imagine.
So the same area that God has called me is the area that I'm really doing badly. Yeah. And I remember God telling me, my will and my wish for you is to go and love your wife. I told, okay, now I wasn't sure whether this is God or it's maybe my own hallucinations or something, or my imaginations. I was like, what did I just hear? yeah, go and go and love her. And I was like, no way, how? This is not possible. This person has caused me a lot of pain in the past. She deserves a slap or something. Now can you now again love the same
Love her.
person?
Yeah.
Ah, and also go and tell her to, to submit to your leadership and all that. And then I'll heal you. I'll heal your marriage. I will heal your lives and your children and all that. So now that was like, I thought, no, that voice, maybe it's a devil who is speaking. But I was like, there's no way the devil will tell me to go and love my wife.
It's impossible.
It's impossible. So that was the most difficult thing.
Yeah.
Actually, I remember when I talked to her first, instead of telling her, by the way, I love you, told her God told me that I love you, to tell you that I love you.
And you're still angry.
I'm still angry, yeah?
Hey,
Yeah?
yeah.
Mungu by the way alisema, God told me to tell you that I love you. Yeah, na makasiriko,
Yeah.
Then I'm like, okay. Because we have to break that ice that has been there for a very long time.
Yeah.
Breaking that ice is very difficult. People who are not talking, people are always arguing, people are always throwing tantrums. And then in the process, I think just in the course, we just started talking. And one of the instructions God has given me is to, raise up family altar. Because there are so many altars that are raised against families and against my family as well.
Yeah.
And so the family altar meant that we would pray together. And I told her. And I also told her what the Lord had said about her part. And I remember our daughter Hope used to be very sick. She has been admitted, she has been operated and all that. And so God was, revealing to me that once He becomes the Lord of the family, then there cannot be any other Lord. Maybe the Lord of sickness will just disappear. The Lord of depression will disappear. The Lord of hatred and all that. But there were clear instructions on submission to the Lordship of God. Because sometimes even we say we are born again, but we have not submitted to God's Lordship. And actually that's the reason that I wrote the marriage puzzle. Because I was like, okay, let me test and see whether this thing works. And then we tried, we tested, and the one instant miracle was that Hope was healed.
Wow.
Completely. Until today, she has never gotten sick again. Because we said, in this family, let God be the ruler. So anytime something is not going right, we know maybe one of us has taken the Lordship through our pride, our ego, or something with our altar. Maybe we are careless not to keep the fire of the altar burning. And so that is how our marriage was healed when God became the Lord. And in this time, I find us having issues. I know one of us is not under the Lordship of God. And I remember after that and all the miracles and all that, on 2023 December, Christmas, then God blessed us with another baby.
Wow.
And then I remember God telling me, it's just a confirmation that, actually one of the assignment God was giving is to install Christ in the hearts of men. But it was a confirmation of God's Lordship in our lives, that sometimes we might be very sure that it's a mistake. You're very sure that this one we must and should divorce. Even counselors can really confirm that. The lawyers can confirm that. Everybody can confirm that, even your parents. But according to my experience, the best one to seek is God. Because again, when you talk about, like one of the chapters here, when why you marrying, God takes you back to the reason as to why He made marriages. And then we find purpose. you find purpose. Like one of my purpose I talk about families is to raise a godly generation. I want in the next 500 years from today, like they can trace and say, our grandfather set up a good foundation for our generation in the area of family. So I want to teach it to my children, teach them to teach their children and all that. Yeah. So that's how we were healed and that's how we were restored.
Wow, that's a powerful story because I mean so many people relate to that.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask, so how long after you got married did this chaos begin?
Yes.
How long?
So I remember it was 7 years.
There's 7 years.
7
because
years.
I have heard stories about the 7-year mark. You know, I've actually had, and now you're confirming it's a real thing, that hapo kwa 7, because it's a mark of completion, there's a test that will come, and after you have gone above it, now the years that follow become blissful, because at that point, after 7 years, I mean, you have seen all the sides of someone, basically, and now it's dawning on you that this is my reality, this is how I'm going to spend the rest of my life. So that 7-year mark, I've actually heard of it, and I'm blessed to hear your story, and I know even the viewers, you know, are loving it. And I would love for us now to talk about after now coming together, the steps that you took. Maybe you just get us into the details, because now if at all it's been 10 years, meaning there have been 3 years, maybe we need to talk about the 3 years, the foundations that have kept you going and kept you together. But before that, I think we're going to just take a short break so that we can sip some water and some saliva. When we come back, we're going to get down to understanding these 3 years. What is that has kept you going and held you together? So that's what we'll be talking about after this break.
Men on Record.
Do your children know that you love them? Not by what you buy for them. Do they hear it from you? Emotional abuse. It's a silent killer that we don't talk about. Asking yourself those very relevant questions. What kind of father do I want to be? When I'm getting married, what kind of husband do I want to be?
It's a conversation about men for men.
And remember this.
To revisit, reveal, and heal issues among men.
Good evening, Men on Record. Why should I talk or say much when all I want is peace, not problems?
Let's set the record straight. Men on Record, Fridays at 7 p.m. live, exclusively on Hope TV and Hope FM. Men on Record, it's a man thing. Hope TV is where you look and live, with an excellent selection of the best Christian programming consisting of local and international content of inspirational stories, talk shows, Bible commentary, youth, health shows, children entertainment, contemporary gospel music, extended times of worship, live broadcast, news, movies, drama, Christian ministry programs, and so much more. Hope TV is another quality service from Christ is the Answer Ministries, with over 45% of authentic and credible local content every week. Hope TV is a sister station to Hope FM, Kenya's leading Christian radio station, with footprints across the country. Tune in to Hope TV, where you look and live.
Thank you for tuning in to Hope TV, your go-to channel for hope, inspiration, education, and wholesome entertainment. At Hope TV, we are committed to knowing God and making Him known through powerful media content. We truly value you and are dedicated to serving you better. For feedback, inquiries, or complaints, reach out via WhatsApp or SMS on 0708 222 323. Email us at customerexperience@hopefm.org. Hope TV, look and live.
Men on Record.
Do your children know that you love them? Not by what you buy for them. Do they hear it from you? Emotional abuse. It's a silent killer that we don't talk about. Asking yourself those very relevant questions. What kind of father do I want to be?
Yeah.
When I'm getting married, what kind of husband do I want to be?
It's a conversation about men for men.
And remember this.
To revisit, reveal, and heal issues among men.
Good evening, Men on Record. Why should I talk or say much when all I want is peace, not problems?
Let's set the record straight. Men on Record, Fridays at 7 p.m. live, exclusively on Hope TV and Hope FM. Men on Record, it's a man thing. Hope TV is where you look and live, with an excellent selection of the best Christian programming consisting of local and international content of inspirational stories, talk shows, Bible commentary, youth, health shows, children entertainment, contemporary gospel music, extended times of worship, live broadcast, news, movies, drama, Christian ministry programs, and so much more. Hope TV is another quality service from Christ is the Answer Ministries, with over 45% of authentic and credible local content every week. Hope TV is a sister station to Hope FM, Kenya's leading Christian radio station, with footprints across the country. Tune in to Hope TV, where you look and live.
All right, we are back from hearing this very captivating story, but it's also a real story. And I say real because many people are where Isaac was. But now he's here to tell us there is still hope, even when the situation seems hopeless. Now, we were about to talk about now the restoration and what God has been doing through you after that.
Yeah.
And most of all, I want to talk about this book that you wrote, and also even in the counseling area that you are in. We were just talking about preparation,
Yep.
how God sometimes takes us through the thick of it so that we can be equipped for other people. So how has your experience helped you to birth this book and also help others?
Oh, wow, thank you. So I felt that with my experience, my failures, and also the research, the understanding of the effects, I felt this is now forming purpose and meaning. And I want to save marriages. I want to save families, because I realized like one of the main causes of even suicide and depression is loneliness. Even in the very developed countries, like the US, the rates of depression are very high. And one of the reasons is depression. Loneliness, because these guys are very lonely. And so I saw, as I was doing my research, I found that like our Gukas in the 1960s were quite stable because they had stable families. But today, there's actually, I was saying that if there's something that has declined or depreciated, is the value in humanity. Everything else has upgraded. Talk of internet, talk of technology. I looked at 1965 Range Rover and I compared it with a 2025. I was like, what are you talking about? You see the evolution, the way things have really changed. But when it comes to humanity, I found that the degradation is very high. And one of the reasons for this degradation is because of the foundations of the family being dysfunctional. And so I decided, you know what? I become a champion of families from right now. Going forward, we even talked with my wife and we said, let us help families. Because with the trend that we are seeing, the future is going to be very difficult for people. As people grow old, the more they need the support. Like now, if you go to your shosho, for example, and the excitement of seeing her grandchildren and her children and all that. So as people grow old, so many of the things that really matter now go down, and then they start out thinking about it becomes so social. It's about people, it's about your family, it's about your support and all that. And so we said in the very near future you'll find like now these guys were saying that they can't marry, that they like the Gen Zs are saying the things they fear most is the phone going off and marriage. And then I'm like, what? Hapo kwa okay, phone going off is a bit scary kidogo, but this other one
Porridge,
hot porridge and a donkey's kick. So I'm like, it's only now that you guys are young and that's what you're feeling, but it will come to now 60s and you're still alone, single, without children, without a family. How will it be then? You get, yeah? And so I said, oh no, I want to really use this space to help people before they get into it. At least they do some, some practice, or what do we call it? Educate. They get well educated, so that even after getting in, they still find themselves in a difficult situation. They know what to do. And so that's how we formed the meaning and we formed purpose and came up with this book. And especially that chapter, when God is Lord, we said if everybody built up God in themselves, whether single, married or not, then there would be solutions to so many of the problems. Because I found that most of the problems is because of individualism. Like, I do what I want, I feel what I want, even without challenging the feeling, or I just think the way I want. Feel like going to marry another person, then you could. But what about God? What about He who created it? What is His perception about the whole thing? Yeah, so that's how we form meaning and purpose. And one way we have really been able now to build up a good family is through knowledge. Like, we know how good families are built. There are so many other books that we've read even after. There are so many we've listened to other people, other counselors who are quite good in the same, because we found it to be a professional. And in any profession, there is what we call professional development. So we have to keep on developing it. There are the do's and there are the don'ts. Like, for sure, if you do this, it's going to work against you. It's like you swallow a poison and then you expect it to not to harm you. It will definitely harm you. So there are the do's and there are the don'ts. So we found ourselves in a space where we're in a school. And even now, we told ourselves, this school, I don't think it will ever end. We'll continue learning. But however, we have provided an environment where our learning is conducive. So we don't, like one of the things we've really emphasized is on emotional intelligence. I'm like, don't do things that will make me angry. Don't provoke me. I'll also not provoke you. When we have conflicts, how do we solve them? Because at some point I saw another Shosho and Nakuka really arguing, and I was like, these guys should be experienced enough by now. What is it? They were angry, and then they were really shouting. But I realized that this knowledge is not because of age, because you can be old but you didn't go to school. But now it's getting into school and growing old in the school as you keep on progressing and advancing and changing and transforming. Yeah, so that's what has kept us, that's what has kept making us better and better every day. Also, it's important for me to talk about forming godly patterns. Because somebody who is well formed with a godly pattern will always follow God's way. And God's way is not like a way of divorce and separations and all that. So forming godly patterns through, obeying His word. Sometimes you feel this is what I feel, but you should consult God on your feeling. Carol, about it. What about you? What's your view on this? Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's really powerful, and to see how God has restored your union, and even for purpose to be birthed from everything, the chaos that went on. And I want you to talk about the healing process, because having come from such a difficult place, now trying to see your wife through the lens of what God has instructed, that you need to love this person. So what would you say has helped your healing process?
Yeah.
What are those daily practices? And even when you fall into an argument again, because it's still marriage and it happens, what things do you now do differently?
Yes. Thank you. So one thing that has been very critical, and we always talk about this, is for personal development. You as a person,
Yeah.
because I can keep on becoming better and better, but the other person, like I said last time, if I'm scoring at least an A minus and this guy is scoring an E, it's going to be very difficult, because anytime you're in the exam, then the difference is too much. But at least if somebody scores higher and at least they get to a C, at least you're still getting closer. You are minimizing the differences, and at least by the time they are coming to a B and a B minus, at least you guys are even talking. You are meeting at a point of intellect, because one of the main challenges in marriage is intellect. You find that you consider your partner as an idiot, like she's empty, he or she is empty, there's nothing to talk about. You guys are just just physical entities. It's like a stone and a stone. But when it comes to human beings, there is intellect, there's emotional or compatibility. That is very critical, because like during this time when you guys were fighting, you talked to each other badly, you formed there was a big wall that was created, and this wall is a wall of very negative emotions. Talk of unforgiveness, talk of bitterness. Maybe someone cheated on you and they have never apologized. They are just there assuming everything is okay. Maybe there are so many emotions in the process. You've also had other issues, like you lost a parent, you lost business and all that. All these things are all combined into one. It's not like now you can differentiate. This is the emotion that was caused by marriage. This one was caused by the loss of a job. All of them are in one basket. And so the rift becomes too wide. And so one of the things to, just deal with that challenge is to do what we call emotional intelligence. Like, for instance, let me give a practical example. I have forgiven even the people who will wrong me tomorrow, because they are there. And I realized in the past I was holding on to a lot of anger because of the people who had messed me up. And it's almost obvious that people will mess you up. And so I now got a wisdom. How do I deal with these guys? And I said, you know what? I'll not wait for anybody to come and apologize.
Yeah.
Like I said, sometimes back, even my childhood was very difficult. Assaults, insults, but nobody has ever come to tell me sorry. But I said, I don't care. I don't need their sorry. I know how to tell myself sorry and take myself for an out and for a cup of juice and treat myself well. And tell Isaac, by the way, sorry for that. I mean, I can tell myself sorry on their behalf.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So emotional intelligence is very critical, so that the things you do don't pile up to your files, your erroneous files. Like today, many people are sad, even because of what is happening in the country. Yeah, some people have been injured, the anger and the bitterness and all that. Yeah. But one thing I do, for me, I'm very careful on what God gets into my mind and what gets into my emotions, because it will affect my feelings and my behavior. So one of the things, and those are the two main things that I can say that we really develop when it comes to personal development,
Yeah.
which involved a lot of intellectual compatibility. So that the person knows, okay, you guys, can we have a talk? Can we have an intellectual talk? And then emotional compatibility, where one is not shouting and the other one is calm. You can imagine now two people shouting, everybody has come with their errors. You have your own errors and I have my own errors. So that's why even you'll see fire, because it's emotions versus emotions. So emotional intelligence is very critical. That really helped us. And even now we're still working on it. And the other thing is also spiritual compatibility. Because if you're of different faiths, again, now you're really encouraging the rifts.
Yep.
The rifts will keep on growing and growing and growing. If you cannot pray together, if you cannot fast together, if you cannot be able to read the Word of God together. So for us, some of those things were very, and like I say, that it's God who really helped us. It's God who helped us to come together. So it's very spiritual. It's, I think, even 100% spiritual with that, because outside of the will of God, one of the things I'm sure you can also test to that is that feeling of love, the one people call love, doesn't last for long. That feeling, it's a key reward that causes addiction, even in drugs and bangies and all that. Yeah,
that's true.
that thing doesn't last for long. That it comes to an end. But the understanding of what love is in the Bible,
Yes.
the patience, the love is patient, the love is kind, the love doesn't keep a record of wrongs, causes us, wait a minute, what is, now this is the definition of love?
True love.
True love is this thing? Then we mature.
Yeah.
We become mature. We are like, okay, even when I say I love you, I've been patient with you.
Yes.
I have not kept the record of wrongs. I think that's love. I have done what the Bible tells me, but I'm not feeling the good feeling. Like, I'm not feeling it at all. Actually, the last time you feel the feeling is long ago, you know.
Yes.
But that feeling is not love. And so that's why many people will keep jumping from one relationship to the next,
They're
looking for love.
That high.
And it's in the area of the illiteracy.
Yes.
In emotions and intellect, spiritual and all that. Yeah.
That's powerful, because you see, for me, when people say love doesn't keep a marriage, I like to pause and ask them, what's your definition of love? Because for me, love does keep a marriage if people have the right definition of what love is. People confuse love with lust, love with infatuation. But love in itself is hard.
Yeah.
Love is what took Jesus on the cross.
Yes.
And the Bible says love conquers all. Love never fails. So love does indeed keep a marriage. But people have to understand what love is.
Yes.
Because if they think they know what love is, they will always say, I stopped loving him.
Yes.
But forgetting that love is not a feeling, but it's a choice.
Yes.
You decide that
Yes.
I'm going to love. Love does keep marriage if people have an understanding of what love is.
Yeah.
So I love that you've brought that out. You know, even bringing those attributes, you know, the patience, the long suffering. Love is endurance.
Yeah.
Even through the tough
True.
times.
Yes.
And I just want you, Isaac, to encourage a viewer, because many people, I can promise you, are at the verge of a divorce. They're scared because they're afraid even of what society will say. Some of them, the only thing that is keeping them from divorcing is because they feel the church is going to, you know, stigmatize them and stuff like that. But that is the wrong reason for you staying. It should be what you've mentioned about the Lord being Lord over your union. You know, a cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. The third strand needs to be God.
Yeah.
So maybe just encourage someone who feels hopeless,
Yeah.
even from what you've seen, because you almost divorced, but you stayed and you're happy where you are.
Yeah.
So maybe talk to them through the lens of what you yourself have been through.
Okay. Yeah. So viewers, what I can say is that
Yeah.
don't sign that divorce paper. It's not God's way. It's not God's way, and it's going to make it tougher for you. Yeah, for your mental health, for your spiritual stability. It's going to mess up your children, and it's going to mess up your generation. So there is hope because there is God. God is a God of hope, and God has solutions to our lives. Because sometimes maybe you might feel that you've prayed, you've fasted, you've done all that you can, but submitting that relationship to God is very critical. And there's help, because people like us have been through such experiences. We've become a psychologist, and we're helping people to navigate. So before you quit, seek help. We're here to support you. We are here to work with you. We are here to help you, because again, the quotient of a person is made of many parts, and one of the main parts is a stable family. So just hold on, just smile, just know that there is hope, because it's God.
Amen. Thank you so much, Isaac.
Welcome.
And let the people know how they can grab a copy of the marriage puzzle.
Okay, Nuria Bookshop is in Bazaar, at Bazaar, first floor, room number A12. That's where we have copies, and also at Spamwell. That's where our offices also are. That's where we healing families and people at a personal level. Second floor, a place called H Lovers Nest. You just come there, and then you can also reach us out on this number 0724 382 346. If you are stuck, you don't know what to do, just call us on 0724 382 346. Yes.
All right. Maybe you can just repeat that number again. 0724
382
382
346.
346.
Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Isaac, for
Welcome.
being vulnerable to share your story with us, for opening up your home, allowing us to get in, to see what has been happening, and to be encouraged through your story. Thank you so very much. And, we wish you the very best with your lovely wife, Maggie, and your 3 children. I know God will keep blessing your union, because it is a kingdom marriage. A kingdom marriage isn't a perfect marriage. A kingdom marriage is a marriage that serves God's purposes. And yours does that, and it has done that even through what happened. God has healed you and is using you to heal others. So I'm grateful to have just heard from you about your story. And I believe that even the viewers back at home have also been encouraged. So asante sana.
Karibu.
May God bless you.
Amen.
And I believe we'll have you back here again.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. So
Thank
do you
you.
have any closing remarks?
The closing remarks is that marriage, I think #marriage is work.
Marriage is
There's,
marriage works and marriage is work.
Yeah, because there's been a lot of deception, that there are scams. It's only that the guys who do dramas in marriages are very loud.
You're right.
Very loud. They are on the social media. It goes like wildfire.
Yes.
But for those who it's working, they are quiet.
And that's what we need to change.
Yes.
We need to flip that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why some of us have come out to speak out and to say, you know what, we are not going to keep quiet with ours. We're going to tell you they work.
Yes.
That deception of it's a scam, it's a deception. They work. And they are God. They were made by God.
That's true.
And you see, something that God makes is something quality.
Something quality.
Something quality.
Yeah.
So they work because they are made by God.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
true. Whatever God makes lasts forever.
Yeah.
Basically, that's, I mean, he said, let there be light, and we still have light from long time ago, and it's going to last forever. So if he also made marriage, that means it's meant to be forever.
Yes.
So thank you so much for that. May God bless you.
And also that there's a verse I love that says that that which is born of God overcomes the world.
Wow.
So if if you can be able to submit under God's lordship,
Mm-hmm.
and it be born of the Lord,
Yeah.
it will overcome the challenges of the world,
Yeah.
the voices and the deceptions.
Mm.
It is able to overcome the negative emotions, the beliefs, the lies,
Mm-hmm.
and it will work.
Yeah. Wow, that's very true. I feel there's another book, The Deception of Divorce.
I should write that.
You should
I
write
will. I will.
Because it's a deception.
It's
You
a
think you're
deception.
freeing yourself, but
Yes.
actually
Yeah.
you're just going to walk into another.
Yes, yes, yes.
But anyway, thank you so much, Isaac. Before we write many more books, thank you to our viewers. Asanteni sana for tuning in. I hope you've learned. My mom has been watching and has said beautiful interview. I know she has also learned quite a lot. And thank you so much even for our viewers back at home who are always tuned in, who always support what we do. May God bless you and also bless your marriage. Please hold hands and make sure you're praying to God so that He will give you direction. Don't just make a hasty decision. You'd rather be where the will of God is, because if you're outside of the will of God, even in divorce, it's not going to go well with you. So please come to God. And even for those who have already divorced and they feel maybe condemned and feeling, oh, I already messed up, I just want to tell you that our God is a God of restoration. He hates divorce, but then He doesn't hate divorcees. So you can still come back to Him and ask for restoration. And the next time you do marriage, you do it right. And God is going to hold your hand and He's going to restore you fully and your children as well. So we're going to close the show at that point, but I will be seeing you guys tomorrow on Beyond the Melody. Have yourselves a lovely day. My name is Beatrice Nudi.